Team Pointy Star here, and we're going to start. Today we're going to do that Traptrix video because this deck is underplayed. We're going to start out. I was facing some hero deck. This guy was trying to play heroes after, stuff went away. Let's see what goes down. He opens with a decent hand. I open with a different hand. I kind of pot a duality because that's my first thought. Card's good when you have lots of back row. I'll show you the deck after the video as always, and we'll just kind of go along with it. He summons Alias because that'd normally be a safe play, and so I just kind of living with the card. I kind of have like all the cards in the world that I would ever possibly want, so I just kind of, I've got everything. The reason why I didn't summon the Marmello was the fact that the Alias was out and stuff, and I could search for traps, and the fact I wasn't setting the trap that I would be searching would be too dumb. I think I end up doing it now anyways, though, just because Trap Hole's a good card, and I don't care if he knows bottomless Trap Hole's in my hand, which is one of 2 cards, you know? This card is what's weird, is he's just doing really strange plays. He is only running a 40-card hero deck, but he's running some different heroes, just because he doesn't have the room to not play certain ones. That Ice Edge, he's like certain on getting that Ice Edge out, and I know that it has a really good effect when he hits me directly, so I just kind of don't let him get it. The card's really nice as well, and it's just kind of dumb because every time he tries to summon, I can just stop it with all my different cards. This deck's a really nice deck because you continually just set up really dumb cards, and your opponent can't really do much about it, because when you are constantly maintaining a back row of 5 traps without running out of traps or without running out of monsters all at the same time, it's good. The best card in this deck is by far the Marmello, and people are splashing this in random other decks. The Tio's good as well, but the problem with Traptrix Tio is, well, you have to have a card in the graveyard first. The duel's about to wrap up. He sets his monster. I draw this card. I just get a bunch of cards and stuff, so he ended up scooping when I summoned that. So that was our first duel. Moving into the second duel, which was Destiny Hero. All these hero decks were really kind of confusing. This guy, I think, scoops a little earlier than the last duel. He gets a bunch of cards. It's just, don't even really care. He's going plays. That Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare is so good. It stops Exciton Knight. It stops everything. So it's really nice. His mistake against Pot of Duality just means I get to send something to the grave, so I end up sending him ST. I would have sent the Redox if I had thought that through, but I was still a little new on that rule. He actually scooped really soon because he was not getting good cards. I'm just gonna keep on trucking along. His turn, he draws the warning, he summons Diamond Dude, but when he misses with Diamond Dude, he's done, because he really needed to draw the card that he sent. So, that was that duel. Moving on, we've got ourselves some Gemini. This, again, it was an interesting deck. I was facing some really weird decks. I got a lot of rage quits after I would go set 5 end, and I got a lot of people who just couldn't put up any kind of fight. And a bunch of the things got corrupted when it updated, so I wasn't able to use a lot of my decks, or replays. These are the replays that survived. You can also be expecting a similar video from Blue at the same time. His turn, he just ended up, I summoned Tio, and he scooped. He was upset because he couldn't do anything. Moving on, we got a Harvey duel. This duel was a pretty interesting duel. Because I was terrified when I found out what it was, because this is a horrible matchup for Traptrix, because they can go get rid of 5, and if you don't have the perfect hand, they can wipe you down. He did Icarus attack. In my opinion, that was premature, but we'll move on. He draws that card. He's got a decent hand, except for the fact that he's missing stuff. That's the reason why I'm not a big fan of the whole Tempest and that deck. He goes Hunting Ground, Harpy Lady. I saw him warning, so it doesn't pop anything of mine. I just kind of move on. Shard of Greed, Nepenthes, he books a moon. I do other things and just kind of live with certain cards. He does get the Hysteric Party, which is great for him. So I can just like set this card, do other stuff. I go for another 16. He's got 16 left. He goes Hysteric Party. He goes to he gets to destroy something, and then bottomless trap hole, he's done. I believe he draws and he yeah, Dark Holes, and I think he scoops when I summon. Yeah, because I drew perfect card, summon, he was done. Heraldic, this is a really interesting duel. The deck list I use is different than the current deck list. These are all different variations where the double summon has moved up to 2 or down to 1, maybe even tried 3 for a little bit. I've used different cards, and I'll show you my most current list. I do like all this drawing. The problem with card car is that whole new little rule thing. I'm still probably going to use it because it's good late game in this kind of deck, but I'm just on the edge with this deck. I'm moving on. We got, this deck just gives you so much drawing. It's so nice. The Heraldic's also a really nice deck. I would try it out if you really cared. They got their own 3 Monster Reborns, plus they have all their monsters which do really dumb stuff, and they do pretty good. Just don't face Traptrix because that upsets people. Also, the reason why I did that double summon is I like having my full back row, and I don't like letting my people know what are in my back row. So I like only choose certain things, and they start summoning cards, and yeah. I think I kind of panicked when I saw the Shark Knight, but then I didn't think it through because he couldn't get rid of my cards. I just kind of freaked out, so I got rid of it. He's got 46 left, and he actually does make some small plays. He keeps getting searches off that Leo, which really kind of bothers me, but, you know, I'm just going to keep on trucking along, doing all my damage. Main phase 2, Cowboy, and that's when I get Raigeki Breaked. He loses all cards in his hand. I bluff with my double summon, and his turn. This is where things were a little terrifying, because you can't win battles with just a card. The warning was decent if, you know, my opponent would summon something, and then I have the fact that, you know, I'm just trying to... you know, not lose. I did set cards, activate that set, and then his turn I can do stuff such as, you know, I'm taking some minimal damage. His turn, this is where I get so lucky, because that Mirror Force is okay, but it's the fact that he goes to try and summon stuff. He summons that, I warn him. He's got 400 left, he attacks, I Mirror Force. Then he brings that back, and he reborns and stuff like that. And I'm just like terrified right now because of all this different stuff. Yeah. This is where I would have a panic attack. But the fact that at the beginning of this duel, I set that fascinating trap hole, and it sat there for the whole duel, because of that, I'm going to end up winning. MS2 during end phase, and Heart of the Cards gives me the perfect card to win this duel. Summon Fascinating Fiend, or Myramello, Traptrix, and just kind of poke for a game. The last duel was against the Noble Knights deck, and for some reason he was main decking Book of Eclipse, and because of that I decided he was just terrified of the mirror match, because you know how much that's going to happen. It's like he's using some sort of like weird like flip down build. It was really interesting. It kind of focused a lot on him just re-equipping things to different cards and stuff like that. And he was using some of the pro cards from like Ghostrix in there, but you know, there was just some stuff going down. I'm pretty big. I really liked this matchup. I'm not a big fan of Noble Knights, as you've probably seen from my other videos, but it's not a bad deck per se. There's too many inconsistencies I found with it. Moving on. This duel is going by rather quickly. There's just so much stuff that went down. Just kept trying to summon stuff. I kept stopping the summons. It's very straightforward, very linear with this deck. You know, that whole card's really nice, and they do some good stuff right here. We're returning some stuff, and he mind controls and makes an XYZ, and that is why Traptrix, Trap Hole, or Fascinating Trap, whatever you want to call it, is a good card, because Exoton Knight gets stopped by that card. You can't chain to the same link, so it's nice. And pretty much, yeah, I do some 2 damage, and then, yeah, just kind of moving on with this duel. I'm just, like, not chill with some of this stuff this guy's trying to recover, and so I'm just getting really lucky the fact that I have all these traps. If I had drawn poorly, this would be a really dumb duel. I got really lucky in this duel. He's got 800 life points left. I set 2, and then when he draws nothing, I think he scoops. Yeah, he was going like the Royal Decree wouldn't help when the Cowboy was out. If he had drawn that earlier, it might have been nice. This is the deck list. 1 Redox, 3 Atrax, 3 Dionea. It's T.O. Dionea. I don't know. They changed its name to something more complicated. You know, Konami making sense. We've got ourselves 3 Maramello because Maramello is great. And I'm still using the 1 Nepenthes because I like the card and it works with all the traps that you're running. I'm also using a 3 card car right now, which I'm really loving this right here. Moving on, we got ourselves 1 Double Summon, 1 Dark Hold, 3 Pot of Duality, 2 MST, 1 Book of Moon, and 3 Shard of Greed. I actually am thinking about taking out a Mystical Space Typhoon for a, Dimensional Fissure, because it's a nice card. I've really liked it. Even though Tio would have some issues, or Dionea, what you do is you can flip up the, or you can detach from XYZ to get them in the grave, and you can flip up Call the Haunted still anyways. It's just there are some issues with it. I'm moving on to traps. I'm running 2 Void and 3 regular just because nobody expects regular trap hole. It's really good card. 1 Bottomless, 2 Fascinating Trap Holes, 2 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, 1 Dimensional Prison, 1 Warning, and 2 Call the Haunted. Call the Haunted is great because of Maramello's Mystical Space Typhoon effect. Moving on to extra deck, we've got 1 Crazy Box in case of skill drain, which kind of hurts. 1 Gemnite Pearl just because it's a big monster. 1 Utopia because we can. This guy is TCG or OCG exclusive, but he's an amazing card fighting Madolches and stuff because they can't use 2 of the same monster. We've got 1 Pappy, 1 Black Ship, 2 Shark Knight. If you're building this deck IRL, don't run 2 Shark Knight. It's a great card to run at 2, but run 2 Cowboy instead because it's cheaper. Shark Knight is an amazing card though because you just get lots of little. This card right here means instant XYZ. Moving on, we got ourselves 1 Direwolf, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Maestroke, 1 the Vol Chain, 1 Degusto Emerald, 1 Abyss Dweller, and finally Cowboy. Cowboy is a great way to end. It's just, you know, the deck does really dumb stuff and it's a little slow. I'm only running 14, 11, and 15 as opposed to my 20, 10, and 10, but that's just because you don't really need to run a lot of monsters. Some people are running B-Tron, some people are running more or less of the Double Summons, more or less MSTs, more or less of Void Trap Hole just because it fights things, and I'm only using 1 Dimensional Prison because I'm not a big fan of it. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Yeah.